Satterley. I'm a certified public accountant. I'm also the founder of Satterley Training Consulting, which is a consultancy firm that focuses on helping small businesses, accounting professionals, basically anybody that's looking for small business help implementing new applications and streamlining the processes. I'm also the founder of Satterley Business Solutions, which is an accounting and tax firm that services small to mid-sized companies. I'm also an Intuit Advanced Certified Pro Advisor. I've been using and helping others learn Intuit products for the last 25 years of my career. I'm a member of the Intuit Trainer Writer Network, and I'm the co-host of the Happy Hour with Liz and Heather, which is a bi-monthly webinar series that's focused on apps, third-party apps that work with QuickBooks Online, and it's geared just for you, the accounting professional. So if you'd like to join us for those free webinars, we have an awful lot of fun, and you can find out more and register at thehappyhour.com. So that's just a little bit about me. Let's go ahead and go through a couple of housekeeping slides, and we're going to jump right into our content. So our CPE process for this session is you need to be here for a minimum of 50 minutes to earn the 1 CPE credit that this session is eligible for. You're going to need to respond to 75% of the checkpoints during the session. So the checkpoints are overlays that are going to show up on your screen. You just got to click to say you're here. It'll also have a tone associated with it. So if you are kind of doing some multitasking, it'll kind of remind you that you need to check in order to get your CPE. If all of the requirements are met, your CPE will appear in your user profile in the virtual conference within 24 hours. You'll also receive an email with your CPE attached from Intuit at theonlineexpo.com. So we do recommend that you add those to your approved contacts so your CPE doesn't end up in your spam folder. If you only meet the above requirements in part, so you don't make it the whole 50 minutes, and we only have 1 CPE credit, then that means that your CPE is going to be processed manually. Your certificate will be emailed to you within 2 weeks following the close of the event. Now, if you have any other questions regarding CPE credits, you can head on out to the virtual conference lobby, and there is a special desk there for you to find somebody to help you with that. All right. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, to prepare for today, we're really hoping that you're going to sign up for the free QuickBooks Pro Advisor program. That's where you're going to find lots of free benefits to help you manage your practice and to manage your clients that are using QuickBooks Online. And you can do that using the bit.ly link that you see on your screen, or you can head on over to QuickBooks.com and just click on the Accountants menu, and it will take you where you need to be to register. Additional resources that you have available to you is we have all of our training events in the Intuit Accountants team are located at qbtrainingevents.com. That's where you can register for webinars, in-person trainings when we're on the road, and virtual conferences just like this. You can also find articles and other resources related to the accounting industry at firmofthefuture.com. And then finally, we have the Intuit Marketing Hub, which is where you can find resources to help promote your firm and engage your clients. So lots and lots of free resources available for you as an accounting professional. Now, I just want to take a moment to thank all of the people that are making this session possible. So I'm here presenting to you, but there's lots of people on our team that are making this session possible. And that includes our webcast engineers. So a huge thank you to them, making sure that everything goes smoothly. We also have our Intuit team that's helping us with making sure everything runs smoothly, that we have the right content. And then we also have some professionals in the questions and answers panel that are helping to answer your questions. So thank you to everyone that's made this possible. Thank you to you for joining us today. And now we're going to keep moving. Our learning objectives for this particular session are we're going to differentiate among the various services and roles that accountants provide to their clients. We're going to take a look at how clients perceive the value of the services that they receive from us. We're going to walk through the qualities and skills needed to succeed in the 3 roles of the bookkeeper, the consultant, and the advisor. And you're going to understand why you need to incorporate consulting and advisory services to maximize what you can charge your clients. And then finally, we're going to develop a plan to ensure the ongoing viability, growth, and profitability of your firm. Does this all sound good to you? It sounds good to me. So let's go ahead and get started. So first, let's go ahead. I forgot we have to do a CPE question here. So let's go ahead and do our first CPE question of the day. So I want to find out who you are. So who is joining us today? Are you a bookkeeper? Are you a CPA or an enrolled agent? Are you a small business owner or employee, an accounting student or teacher, or are you something else? I'm going to give you just about a minute to complete this polling question to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to vote. And then we're going to dive right into our presentation for this session. All right, who are you? I'm actually a bunch of these things. So there should be I think there should be an option here like select all, but select the one that you identify with the most. All right, everybody. Okay, so it's been up for just about 45 seconds. I'm going to give you a few more seconds and then I'm going to count you down. I want to make sure everyone has the opportunity to get their CPE credit. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And that's our poll. So thank you so much. All right. So what we're going to be doing today, as I mentioned at the very beginning, is we're going to explore the many, many, many different ways that we can help our clients succeed through the services that we provide. Now, as accounting professionals, we always fall back on our compliance services that we do, reconciling bank accounts, preparing tax returns, but we actually do a whole lot more for our clients. And most of us kind of think, well, that's kind of included in the services that we do. But I would kind of beg to differ because everybody puts a different amount of effort into their relationship with their client. And most of us, not all of us, but most of us go above and beyond. We need to recognize the additional value that we're bringing to our clients and maybe even package them up into different service offerings. Okay, so advancements in technology make this even more relevant to us because as technology becomes more automated, we need to find additional ways to make ourselves relevant to our clients. For example, we see now with products like QuickBooks Online or banks even, where they have automatic categorization of transactions. They have built-in reconciliation tools. And so some clients may feel like, well, all that data entry stuff is already being automated. What do we need you for? Well, you need us because we have expertise, right? So we need to focus as accounting professionals on defining and relaying what that value is to our clients. So that's what this session is all about. So we're going to go through the 3 different kind of service buckets that accounting professionals offer to their clients. And we're going to talk about how you can package those as additional services and provide more revenue for your firm. All right. So as we go through, we're going to talk about the differences between bookkeeping, accounting, consulting, advisory services, and we're going to talk about how we can maximize the skills we already have to package them and show that value to our clients. So what is advisory exactly? So advisory is giving advice, of course, right? It's advice that's based on our knowledge or expertise. So accounting professionals, just like you, we give advice all the time. So how many times has a client called you up and said, what account should I use to categorize this transaction? Or maybe they say something like, how much should I put away each week to save for that new piece of equipment that I need to buy? Or how should I be planning in order to hire that new employee that I know I need, 6 months down the line? Or how much should I pay that new hire? Our clients ask us these types of questions all the time. And every time we answer the question or solve a problem using our unique set of skills that we have as accounting professionals, we're advising our clients. It's just that most of us, we don't call it that, right? Now, some of this advice, of course, is part of the services that we offer, such as the bookkeeping services, tax preparation, right? If we're explaining why we took a particular deduction or, why we categorize a particular transaction a certain way, that's completely part of that bookkeeping or tax engagement. However, much of the advice that we give to our clients goes well beyond the scope of the services that we are engaged to provide, that's actually in our engagement letter. So many professionals, and I see this all the time when I'm talking to other accounting professionals, especially when I'm out on the road speaking for Intuit or doing webinars like this, they feel like they don't have the experience or the authority to actually frame the valuable advice that they provide to their clients as advisory, and they end up giving it away for free. Now, you can certainly do that. Others maybe don't want to give the advice for fear of their own subjectivity or, regarding the subject or liability. But most of us offer it anyway. And you know what we do? We qualify it with, I'm no expert, but this is what I think. Or if you're not a CPA, I'm not a CPA, but I think it should be handled this way. Well, when you're doing that, you may be qualifying what you're saying, but you're still giving the advice. If you're going to give the advice, you should package it up and you should certainly get paid for it. If you truly feel that you're not qualified to offer advice to your clients, then you should absolutely not do that. I'm not suggesting that you should. If you feel unqualified, don't do that. Instead, refer them to an expert. You've got to make sure that you follow your gut, right? And that you're doing what feels right for you. But if you are giving advice and you're qualifying it with one of those statements, the reality is that you're already providing advisory services. You're just not charging your clients for it. So let me tell you a little bit about my journey to confidently offering advisory services to my clients. So I started out as a bookkeeper. So my mom is a CPA, and back in my 20s, I started offering bookkeeping services. I worked as a full charge bookkeeper for a company, and then I ended up going to work for my mom. And so she had me going and helping her clients with their monthly bookkeeping work. And eventually I became a pro advisor. As I was working with the clients and I learned more and more about accounting, about debits and credits, how to depreciate assets, I really started to learn a lot about the industry. Eventually, I ended up going back to college and getting my accounting degree. Then I went on to do all kinds of another degree and eventually got my CPA. But one of the things that I used to do all the time when I was a bookkeeper is a client would ask me a question. And what I would say to them is, I'm not sure. You should probably ask your CPA. And that's how I started when I was just learning and I wasn't really sure about a depreciation rule or GAAP accounting or how to handle a sales tax issue. I wasn't really experienced. So I would say, I'm not really sure. You should ask your CPA. Then I started to migrate into these answers. I think this is how you should handle it, but you should get final authority from your CPA, right? And that's a good thing to actually say, especially if you're dealing with a CPA who's doing the tax return, because what you think or how you think it should be handled could be different from the way that the CPA thinks it should be handled. If they're the ones filing the taxes, then really they should have the ultimate say. Eventually, you get to the point where you really know what you're talking about, and maybe this comment comes up. I disagree with your CPA. I don't think that's the way that you can handle it, right? Ever said that? Ever had a CPA or an enrolled agent or another accountant? I don't want to just single out CPAs. I am one, so I totally empathize. But they come back and they tell you how to do something. You go, I'm not sure that that's how I would handle it, right? So at a certain point in your path, that happens. And then finally, I am your CPA. That's what happened to me, right? I went through that entire path. Ask your CPA. I kind of think I know, but definitely check with them. Then I disagree. And then I finally became the CPA. I became knowledgeable and confident enough to say, this is exactly what I think. And I charge my clients for that. So how do you get there? How do you make that path of going from, somebody who's just getting started out in bookkeeping, just getting their feet wet with accounting principles and things like that, to that expert advisor? Doesn't have to be a CPA. You can still be an expert advisor without having your CPA license. You definitely have to understand accounting principles and be really confident with it. So how do you get there? You invest in your education and skills. You follow and protect your moral compass. Super duper important there, right? You have to follow and protect your moral compass, and by finding a mentor. And eventually you're going to become a mentor yourself. So finding a mentor is really, really crucial to your path to becoming an advisor, because a mentor is going to be able to share their own experiences, their own path, and it's going to give you the opportunity to bounce your ideas off and get validation for your instincts as a professional. And that is incredibly valuable. Now I'm at the point where I still have mentors 100%, but I'm also mentors to others. And I got to tell you that I learned so much through being a mentor to my mentees. They bring a fresh perspective, a different perspective. And every time that I spend time and meet with them, I find that I grow in different ways. And it's a beautiful, beautiful relationship. So if you haven't quite found that yet, if you're just starting out, or maybe you're a seasoned professional, it really will benefit you to reach out and find a mentor or a mentee and establish that relationship, because the things that you'll learn from each other are incredibly valuable to both of you. And every time you have a fresh perspective or you can share your knowledge, you see it a little bit differently. So practice, let's talk about practice. We're talking about, being in practice. And what does that mean? It's a verb. It means to perform an activity or exercise a skill repeatedly or regularly in order to improve or maintain one's proficiency. Okay. It is also a noun, the customary, habitual, or expected procedure or way of doing something. So the actual application or use of an idea, belief, or method as opposed to the theories relating to it. So why did I just tell you what the definition of practice is? Because we are in practice, and that's what practice means. It means we're always growing. We're practicing our skills. We're learning more about our skills. Okay. It's creating habits and creating systems and processes to make us the best that we can be and to become really, really, really amazing advisors to our clients. So there is no doubt that you joined this virtual conference because you want to provide valuable, actionable, and quantifiable advice to your clients. You want to be that advisor. Otherwise, you wouldn't be investing 2 days of your life to attend this virtual conference. You have an idea, likely, to grow your skills and practice to the next level. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take some time and talk about what does it take to actually get there. Okay? All right. You can get there by investing in your education, which you are all doing right this very second. So kudos to you. You're absolutely where you need to be on your path to becoming a strategic and valuable trusted advisor to your clients. By expanding and sharpening your skills. So one of the things that I do to expand and sharpen my skills is that I set aside time each week, every week, to learn something new, whether it's signing up for a webinar, whether it's checking out a new application that I think will benefit my practice or my clients, or having a conversation with somebody that I look up to that has skills that I aspire to have in my own career and my own life. So those are definitely ways. You also are going to get there by following and protecting your moral compass. As we go through our careers, we definitely will encounter people that really push our moral compass, ask us to do things that our gut and ourselves are telling us really are beyond our level of comfort. You really have to trust that. As soon as you go beyond what your moral compass is, you put yourself in a really dangerous place. So what I would say to you is if it doesn't feel right, it probably isn't right. And there's tons and tons of opportunity and work out there. You do not have to compromise your morals to get work. You just don't have to. I've learned that I've been in business for 25 years. I've walked away from a lot of clients and I'm still doing really well. In fact, the clients that I work with are awesome and they respect the fact that I have a very high moral standard. And I get more clients like that. They refer their friends and contacts to me as well. Finally, by finding a mentor, we've talked about that and becoming a mentor yourself. So those are the ways that we're going to get there. All right. So the next thing we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about the different roles and services of the accounting professional. So you may be thinking that you may not want to step into the advisory role with your clients, and that's just fine. I have staff on my team that are like, I am so happy just doing the bookkeeping. I'm happy just reconciling those accounts. You tell me what to do, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it really well. I'm good there. That's my happy place. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. If that's you, yay, then that's fine. But if you are the person that wants to move beyond that and help your clients in a different capacity than just reconciling the books and making journal entries and things like that, then there are other options. And really, it's the way that you're going to frame up your services that'll kind of move you into, these different service offerings. So just understand that your career is your path. It's your practice. You get to choose what your role is going to be. But before you actually decide, let's go ahead and explore the three main roles and services that we provide as accounting professionals. So accounting is our industry, right? And I'm going to go back to another definition. It's defined two ways. So the first is obvious. So accounting is work done in accounting or by an accountant, right? The second is the system of recording and summarizing business and financial transactions and analyzing, verifying, and reporting the results. It's also the principles and procedures of the accounting system. So now let's look at the definition of bookkeeping, okay? It's the activity or occupation of keeping records of the financial affairs of a business, right? The difference between the two has become super muddled over the years, right? Accountants are providing bookkeeping services. Bookkeepers are analyzing, verifying, and reporting the results. The tasks that are involved in both bookkeeping and accounting are performed today by both bookkeepers and accountants. Oh, and machines, right? So for the purposes of our discussion today, let's group the roles and services we perform into these three buckets. Okay, bookkeeping and accounting are the tasks and the methods of what we do, right? Those are the tasks and methods of what we do, whether it's reconciling a bank account, recording a bill, paying a bill, it's the tasks and methods of what we do. Okay. Consulting is the expertise we have that can be applied to specific events or situations. So when you become a consultant, you're consulting about a particular situation, right? So you're taking all of that experience and expertise that you've learned over the years of doing bookkeeping and accounting, and now you're consulting on it to make recommendations about how something can be handled. Advising is the application of our experience and knowledge that is shared consistently with our clients to help them succeed. So advising, stepping into an advisory role, is an ongoing relationship. When I consult in an engagement, it's usually they're saying, I have this singular problem and I want you to solve it, right? I want to implement a new accounting system. I want to switch from cash to accrual-based accounting. So I would consult on them. Advisory is working holistically in the business. So the client comes to you and says, hey, should I switch from cash to accrual basis? Should I switch to a new accounting system? The advisor is the one that's helping them weigh the options, look at what is the best path, and then making the recommendation. And oftentimes when you're their advisor, you're pulling in consultants to help you actually implement what you've decided with your client. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to look at each bucket individually, and then we're going to define the role, characteristics, and services that are associated with each one. And then you guys can kind of recognize or decide which one of these sounds like where you'd like to be in your career. So the bookkeeping and accounting, in this case, the role is the doer, right? So the role of the bookkeeper and accountant is task-based. The goal is to keep the books organized and compliant with your accounting principles and your federal, state, and local requirements and laws, right? That's what our role is. The application of these tasks are designed around, right, a defined set of methods and rules, right? So there's a defined set of methods and rules